G'day, welcome back to Colecandoo. Today's video shows some new data merge techniques and bugs that I thought would be of interest. The first technique manages to break lines within a data merge field. Using this lanyard card as an example, take a look at the seminars that are appearing in each record. Notice while they're over several lines, they are still within one data merge field. Now this shouldn't be possible, but thanks to clever grep styles, it is. There are a couple of techniques to do this featured on other websites, so rather than spoil their solutions, I'll leave links in the description below to each one. The technique I'm using is from InDesign Secrets. But both techniques have limitations. I can only align the type to the centre, the left, or the right. If I attempt to force justify, you'll see what happens straight away. And if I would like to apply bullets, I can only apply bullets to the top line. I can't apply them to each line. For this I would have to use a different solution. Another technique is to swap out text for symbols. One solution from Daniel Solis uses a unique trick using a special font maker, and I've provided a link to his technique in the description. However, a similar trick can be applied using a script from InDesign called InDesign. This is an InDesign script that can create a full font if you pay for the full version, or a single glyph if you use a tryout. I'll leave a link in the description to that script. In this case, I want to substitute the pipe symbol for my logo, and I've made that ahead of time using this script, making sure that my logo was assigned to the pipe symbol. To do this, I use a grep style that looks for the pipe symbol and replaces it with a character style that's nothing more than the font that contains my logo. Now, if I have records that contain the pipe symbol, they'll have my logo next to it. The next feature I want to demonstrate is one that makes variable fields easier to see. If I turn my data merge preview off, notice how the fields have a highlight applied. This is achieved by making a grep style in the basic paragraph and making sure that any styles that are created are based on the basic paragraph. The grep style is simply a yellow underline with a large stroke that's offset by a few points, and a grep style to look for two less than symbols, followed by anything, followed by two greater than symbols. So I had a real world instance where a client supplied a file where the fields were very hard to see and had no instructions as to where the fields were. Using this grep style, it would have made finding the fields far easier to see. And lastly, I'd like to highlight a bug that has to do with an open quote on its own. When I navigate to record 7, notice that no fields appear. And in record 8, something even more bizarre is going on. If I take a look at the text file that's being used for the data merge, I can see the culprit. Open quotes at the start of fields. This causes data merge to think that there is a close quote somewhere to complete the field, but because it can't find one by the end of the line, it takes a return as the end of the field, causing a bizarre record that we saw in record 8. In record 9, the name Anita appears in quotes in the database, but in the data merge, the quotes aren't there. However, record 10 has a nickname in quotes successfully, and record 11 has a first name in quotes. So how did that work? We go back to the database, see that record 11 had a space bar before the first quote. Put simply, the moment the open quote is the first character in a field, data merge thinks that this is a larger field and waits for a closed quote. However, if the open quote is a second character or later, data merge treats it as any other character. In the case of record 11, there is a space before the open quote in the field. That's it for another video. If If you got something out of this video, show me by hitting the like button and subscribe for more great videos. Check out Colecandoo or InDesign Secrets for the latest articles, or tweet me at Colecandoo. Until next time, I'll see you later.